True Blue Nation, Dodgers Report.
Hello, Blue Nation. Welcome back to True Blue Nation, Dodgers Report. Before we dive deep into the historic marathon we just witnessed, I need you, the real Blue Crew, to do one thing for me. If you value real analysis, straightforward information, and coverage that goes beyond the box score, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell. I bring the facts and the inside analysis, and you don't want to miss anything during this World Series. Let's get straight to it, because what we saw in Game 3 of the World Series on October 27th at Dodger Stadium wasn't just a win. It was a statement of endurance that will go down in history, a 6-5 final score over the Toronto Blue Jays hardly begins to tell the story. We are talking about the longest game in World Series history, 18 innings, 18. I've spoken to some sources close to the team, and the feeling was exhaustion, but also a steel-plated confidence. This victory was forged in fire. Tyler Glasnow got the start on the bump, and the game plan was clear. Attack the strike zone and feed off the crowd's adrenaline, and it worked. At first, that quick 1-2-3 inning, especially the strikeout of George Springer, set Dodger Stadium ablaze. And let's be frank, the boos for Springer, stemming from the 2017 scandal, were almost as loud as the ovation for the first pitch. It was an electric environment. Ohtani immediately answered with a double in the bottom of the first, showing he came to play. But it was Teoscar Hernandez in the second inning who truly shook the stadium with that solo home run. Putting a 1-0 score on the board early in the World Series at home is exactly the kind of pressure we want to apply. Ohtani, being Ohtani, extended that lead to 2-0 in the third inning with a solo HR of his own. At that moment, it felt like we were in total control. Freddie Freeman drew a walk, stole second, and Will Smith hit a single. Freeman's decision to try and score was hyper-aggressive and, frankly, a mistake. Getting thrown out at home by a mile, ending the inning, that's the kind of play that can shift momentum, and it did. The top of the fourth was where our defensive discipline failed, and that's something Roberts will certainly address. Tommy Edman's fielding error is indefensible. You do not give a team of the Blue Jays' caliber an extra life, and they made us pay dearly. Alejandro Kirk's 3-run home run was a gut punch. Suddenly, we were trailing 3-2. They added another insurance run right after. Glasnow, who had looked untouchable, suddenly looked human, and Dave Roberts' decision to pull him in the fifth, bringing in Anthony Banda, was the pragmatic move. You can't let a starter bleed when the bullpen is this rested. The response in the bottom of the fifth, to me, was the first crucial turning point. Kike Hernandez with a single, followed by the other hitting machine, Shohei Ohtani, with a double driving Kike home, 4-3, and then the professionalism of Freddie Freeman. No trying to do too much, just an RBI single that tied the game, 4-4. The dugout exploded. It was an immediate answer that told the Blue Jays, we are not going anywhere. Justin Wrobleski came in for the sixth and was solid, but the seventh inning was another test. Roberts brought in Blake Treinen and one of his most trusted arms with 2 outs, and still the Blue Jays found a way. Bichette's single that caromed off the wall, oddly allowing Guerrero to score 5-4. It was a here we go again moment, but the answer was immediate. Bottom of the seventh. Who else? Shohei Ohtani. Another home run tie game, 5-5. What we are witnessing from this man this postseason is something we will tell our grandchildren about. From the 8th inning on, the game morphed into a strategic bullpen chess match, and this is where the Dodgers roster depth truly shines. Roberts made a bold decision, bringing in our closer Roki Sasaki as early as the 8th inning into a high-leverage spot with runners on first and second and only one out. Escaping that jam without giving up a run was perhaps as important as any of the home runs. The offense sputtered in the 8th and 9th. Ohtani getting an intentional walk and then getting caught stealing after a review. That was a double-edged sword. The aggression is good, but the risk was massive. We went to extra innings. Emmett Sheehan was summoned for the 10th and nearly got into trouble. That throw by Teoscar Hernandez from the right field wall to nail Ty France at home plate was, without question, the defensive play of the game. That was a season saver. Sheehan settled down in the 11th, but the offense just couldn't punch it through. And then we got to the top of the 12th inning. Sheehan was clearly running on fumes. He loaded the bases with 2 outs. The stadium was dead silent, and Dave Roberts made the call that will be talked about for decades. He motioned for Clayton Kershaw. I know from my sources that Kershaw had told the coaching staff he was ready for anything, and he proved it. The ovation was deafening. It wasn't just about pitching, it was about the soul of this team walking out of the bullpen. He got the ground out from Lukes, and it was pure cinema. From there, it was a battle of attrition. Edgardo Henriquez in the 13th and 14th looked unbelievable with that slider and 100-mile-per-hour fastball. We had our best shot in the bottom of the 13th. Edman with a double, Ohtani and Betts intentionally walked, bases loaded for Freddie Freeman, and he struck out. That could have broken a lesser team, but not this one. Will Klein came on in the 15th, Brendan Little. Both sides were exhausted, running on pure adrenaline. And then the 18th inning, the longest game in World Series history. Freddie Freeman, the man who had failed with the bases loaded 5 innings earlier, got his redemption. The walk-off home run. The stadium erupted. It wasn't just a win. It was a championship-defining display of endurance. This Game 3 victory doesn't just count as 1 win, it counts as 2. To win an 18-inning game like this, forcing the Blue Jays to exhaust their bullpen while proving that our own pen, including legends like Kershaw and young guns like Henriquez, can hold the line, is a massive psychological blow. The Dodgers proved they have more depth, more firepower. Ohtani is on another planet, and more heart. Roberts managed this game with surgical precision down the stretch, and the Kershaw gambit will go down as one of the greatest managerial moves of his career. Now, I want to hear from the Blue Crew. What for you was the defining moment of this marathon? Was it Kershaw's heroic appearance in the 12th? Was it Ohtani's game-tying HR in the 7th? Or was it Freddie Freeman's ultimate redemption? Leave your opinions in the comments below. I read every single one of them. And don't forget, for more in-depth analysis and exclusive news from behind the scenes at Dodger Stadium throughout this World Series, subscribe to True Blue Nation Dodgers Report. This is where the real fans meet